This is Al Cavalari and welcome to Fort Montgomery State Historic Site. When you visit any historic site, you have two tasks. One is to use the historical artifacts that you find there, and then the other is to fill in what you don't find with your imagination so you can combine those two features and try to get back to someone else's world. The date we want to try and recreate in our minds is October 6, 1777, when there's going to be a group of Americans inside the walls that you can see outlined here, and they're going to be fighting for their lives. So the artifact you see before you is a natural feature. It's a man-made feature, combined. The colonists have taken the terrain as they found it, and they have built up this walled, diamond-shaped enclosure that we call a redoubt. It's largely earthenworks that they've built up on a stone base, and they left breaks in the wall for their cannons to go through. Those are called embrasures. It's built into the perimeter wall of the fort. What you have to fill in with your imagination is the knowledge that the people inside these walls are likely going to be guys who've known each other since they were 6 years old all their lives, because many of the men who defend here are local militia. And we have a roster of every name of every man that we can identify having fought here. And there are towns from all these outlying counties that we still recognize today. So there's going to be local people here. From Cornwall, for example, 2 people from the same family are going to be engaged here at Fort Montgomery. This is a time when people could live their whole lives and never have to travel more than 20 miles from their home. So what you want to try and imagine is standing here with people you know that well, knowing you're outnumbered 3-1, because I think that at the end of the day, when the final assault came, the defenders must have had a pretty good sense of how badly outnumbered they were. When the attackers make the final push and they're coming over these walls and inside the walls, and they fill up this little swimming pool in front of us, you can imagine the melee that will ensue. It's going to be a bayonet charge on the part of the attackers. They're going to storm the fort. In our museum, I hope you can come and look at what the bayonets looked like at that time. Picture a giant needle. Practically what it looks like. It's got 3 edges to it, very long. It's at the end of a long firearm. So the man attacking you has maybe a 7-foot reach on you, and they're coming in waves. What do those sounds start to sound like as the guys you know are starting to die around you? What does a person sound like when he's plunged and stuck and plucked with these awful bayonets? We have actual written accounts of people who managed to survive multiple wounds as to what that day was like. One man writes, he took a bayonet wound to the left, he took a bayonet wound to the right, he took one in the abdomen, and he took a rifle butt smashed on his head. That sounds to me like a man who's maybe inside those walls and he's being attacked from multiple sides at once. This side, that side, that side. What does that sound like when it's dozens of men fighting for their lives? So it becomes then a situation where the defenders are going to have to flee for their lives. It no longer becomes an issue of holding their position, but how can we escape to fight another day? Some of the Americans will escape through the woods to the north. Some will scramble across to the eastern side of the fort, and scramble down the cliffs to the Hudson River. So where we have here is the hollow that we think the defenders would have escaped through. And if you were fortunate enough to know the terrain, and some of these guys might not have because some of them were new arrivals, but if you knew the terrain, this is the way you would want to come. There's a more gradual slope to get down to the river level and try and make your way north or get across the river. But if you look around to this side, you'll see it drops off quite sharply. So if it was dark, if you were confused, if you were terrified and you're just trying to run for your life, well, hopefully you don't choose that way because you would fall right to your death.